You know, when it comes to watching movies in the theaters these days, I rarely get the overwhelming sense that I'm going to probably vomit during my viewing. And you know what? I got pretty freaking close. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're all having a blessed day today. And today I went to go watch a movie that I did not want to see at all. Not in the bit, but you know who did want to see it? My friends. And you know what? If they wanted to go see it, I would see it with them. But I also brought my brother. I kind of dragged them into this. Went to go see The Ice Cream Man. And right off the bat, yeah, this is pretty stupid. Alright, what's it about? An ice cream man comes to town to turn children into murder weapons to kill every single adult, and then a ragtag team of survivors have to go out of their way to try to figure out why this is happening and try to stop the ice cream man, or they die too. It's honestly pretty freaking simple plot. And this film really is just what would happen if the movie Weapons was the last 20 minutes in a full-length feature. Now, the good were mainly from the kids, and by the kids I mean the main boy that we follow. I'm not gonna bother to look up his name, but I think he did a really good job acting wise. He was very expressive with his emotions, with especially being scared. He's also really funny. There was actually a few times when I laughed in this movie. I do think everyone in the movie, when they were trying to be funny, was funny. Intentionally and unintentionally, I mean, that is remaining to be seen. And finally, shortly after that, the family that the boy was from was not annoying. In fact, I actually think they were pretty human for what they were, and pretty relatable, especially since while I don't have this banter with my family, I can see this being banter with other people's families, so it was nice to have that little bit of levity before we got to the absolute insanity that ensued in this film. Yeah, this movie is gory. When I'm telling you that these kids become weapons to take out other adults, they do some of the most insane Mortal Kombat kills I had seen in a movie in a long while. Seriously, this movie goes by so fast that 1 minute, that same family that I was just talking about with their dinner scene, we're sitting with them for 1 minute, and then the next minute we see these kids absolutely destroying their parents in some of the most, I want to say creative ways, but honestly, they were pretty messed up on how they went out. And while I do think the kills were pretty disgusting, the prosthetics were pretty impressive. And because they were impressive, they really did gross me out. Especially this one set piece where it was basically hell on earth. And it was pretty unsettling to watch, and that was generally the only time that I was scared watching this movie. It's weird to call this a horror movie because I wasn't scared outside of just that one part. There were moments of creepiness, but honestly it was just more of like, why are you looking at me like that? Go away. Nothing really to say like, oh, it's scary. And there isn't jump scares or anything like that. It's meant to be unsettling, but it really does to differ on you on how unsettling you find kids trying to kill you with popsicle sticks are. Despite all of that, I do think that the kills were just in it just for entertainment. I know that's kind of weird to say, but when, again, the whole first half is so fast with setting up the people, getting to know them just for most of them to die out. I go back to the prosthetics. I do think that the added CGI that they did have was honestly pretty awful, and all of the kills were not entertaining in the same way that they were. Some of them were hard to watch because of how realistic and sad they were, and I did have to look away, and it was just not a nice mental place to be at. I definitely did prayer before this movie, and I certainly did it before I left the theater. Might want to do that for yourself. And correct me, I could be wrong when I say this, but the visuals, some of them could have been AI. I felt like I clocked some of it. I'm not talking about, I don't know, I would say see it for yourself, but at the same time, don't. But I swear, I think AI was used in this movie. I think that's a little insane. It was just weird. With the adults that were killed, they are actually pretty stupid in the sense that they just don't have any survival skills to survive what's happening to them. Like, they just kind of allow the kills to happen, almost as if the plot is allowing itself to happen. And speaking on that, once the first half of the movie ends, which is just our core survivors trying to figure out why this is happening, it truly does drag out and is bogged down by exposition on the ice cream man himself and trying to figure out this mystery about him, and it generally just is just not needed considering how the film at first wasn't really trying to take itself so seriously, but then it tries to make itself mundane and even have a twist ending, which I suppose was a bit of a twist, but at the same time you really don't feel much of anything. I guess what I'm saying is that with these kills and how the movie was made, it was definitely idea first, and then let's try to see what would stick onto the film so that we could get ourselves something that almost runs for an hour and 30 minutes, which, while the movie is short, that second half really did drag out. I think what really blew me away and what had me absolutely lose it when it came to the end of the movie, when I was talking with my friends, one of them just straight up said that these kills had to be inspired from 1,000 Ways to Die. I lost my mind in absolute hysteria because I'm looking at these kills, I'm like, they're really messed up, but why do I feel like I've seen them before? And then he said that, neurons in my head were just connected and everything made sense. That connection, oh, I can't. I want to recreate how I felt in that moment, but it would be a little ingenuous. But yeah, this movie was not very good, and it was abrupt. And honestly, with the plot points that they were trying to stick onto the movie, it just is bogged down by cliches that unfortunately just makes it pretty boring and rather forgettable. And like I said, the whole point of this movie is just to be a kill fantasy with children, and just not in it for me at all. It was pretty dumb, but I am very glad that I went with my friends and my brother to go watch it, because seeing their reactions, whether it be from squirming or just straight up bust out vibrating in the seats with the insanity of this movie, that was worth all of the admission time with my friends. Because had I gone, my friends and my brother had punched me a few times because honestly these kills were pretty disgusting, but had I gone by myself, I probably would have walked out truly. And you know what? A Bible verse that I feel fits not the movie, but the overall experience that I've had with my friends and my brother, especially my brother. I don't really get to hang out with him as much by myself anymore because we're just busy. You know how it is, but it really made me feel really happy, and just being able to be expressive and just have that reaction when I did with the connection of 1,000 Ways to Die and the movie. I feel Proverbs chapter 17 verse 22 sums it up perfectly. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a broken spirit saps a person's strength. Had I gone by myself, I would not have been happy. It's why Scary Movie 6 is probably the movie that I still hate more over this, but at least with the Ice Cream Man, I got to watch it with people that I love, and it was a good time because I was with them. The movie itself was not good though. Probably one of the worst movies I've seen this year, and I have already forgotten about it, even though I had watched it a few days ago. So 3 out of 10. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. You guys have a blessed day. Thank you for watching.